Hunter, for you, in the middle of looking for a coach, you took on the chairmanship of the playoff committee. Logistically, how did that affect the search? And then did you have to did your higher ups need some assurance that you were going to be able to balance those correctly?
I mean, the benefit of being the chair and just on the CFP selection committee is I'm required to watch a significant amount of football during the course of the week. And so I was able to watch football, evaluate coaches, evaluate how their teams played, because I was required in my commitment to the CFP to do that. So it allowed me the opportunity to really see how coaches perform, their demeanor on the sidelines, how hard their teams play on both sides of the ball. I was able to do both of those because I have an incredible staff, our senior administration, our support staff, all of our head coaches. I mean, they just do an incredible job, and they allow you to step away from the day-to-day responsibilities of an athletic director and know that everything's going to get done because just the people behind you that work so incredibly hard to make sure that this runs when I have to step away and do, whether it's the CFP duties or I'm away on the head coaching search trail.
Yeah. Hunter, on the new and significant financial resources,
yes,
I'm wondering, the fans want to know, how much is on hand, how much is committed, how much is still to go? Where do you stand?
We're not to the finish line, but I will tell you from a fundraising standpoint, we're off to a great start. What the athletic department is going to commit is significant, and that's how we're going to kind of reallocate some of the dollars that we have. The university, through a direction of the board, is going to make a commitment to our football program as well, and all of that's significant. I don't want to tie a specific dollar amount to any of that because I don't want to limit what we can do, and also I want to make sure that we have a competitive advantage. I think once you put your financials out there and tell other schools what you're doing, then it allows them the opportunity to come meet you where you are or exceed where you're at.
Ron, a lot of head coaches came here before you that did not win. Why is it that you can come in and build a winning program here?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, first and foremost, it's always going to start with the players. And, we got gentlemen here today that are going to be committed to doing it the right way, that believe. And that was so fortunate for me, like just immediately understanding what we have on this roster and going out and finding. I think you guys got to see the work that could be done in 24 hours. Give me 24 days. Give me 240 days. Give me 24 years. All right, and you're going to see a winning program. And I think that can happen immediately. It's not one of these things where we're sitting here saying, hey, Hunter, I need 3 years to rebuild this. No, that we can start rebuilding the culture the moment we step down. The moment I had the opportunity to sit face-to-face with these guys and talk to them and see what they're all about and tell them what I'm all about and how we're going to do this thing together. And I firmly believe it starts with the players in the locker room. That everybody always says, Ryan, tell me about your culture. What's it like? What's it mean to be all in? And I always say, go see the players in the locker room. Go see those players that have been over to my house, the people that my wife has got to know and to pour into as well. And that's what it's all about. And the staff we're going to be able to put together. There are so many things about the state of Arkansas, so many things about this university, and so many things about this football program that are going to set us up for success. All right? There's a proof behind this program, the way we're going to work. We're going to outwork everybody in this country. Okay? And our players are going to believe in that. We're going to do it the right way. We're going to build an excellent culture, a sustainable one, year in and year out, and we're going to make our fans very, very proud.
You got a first-hand look at Arkansas football this year.
Yes, sir.
And that was basically the story of the season. Did not close the game out. How do you get from that point to winning a ton of games?
Yeah, I think part of that is, right, just finding ways. And, listen, at Memphis this past year, we found ways to finish some games and we found some ways not to. And that's the nature of college football. The margin for error continues to shrink, right? And just, brief synopsis of what I saw from Arkansas is, we have to find ways to be more disciplined. Right, whether that's penalties, all those things. I think just the leadership, right, and a lot of the players have come to my office and said, Coach, I think we want to step the leadership. Okay, well, good. That has to start right now, right? We can't wait till we get back on January 14th. That has to start right now, and guys buying into the way we're going to do things. I think the way you condition in the offseason, the way you condition during the season, what does that look like? A great understanding of situational football. Now, ultimately, we look at, I don't get much into statistics, but you want to talk about ball security and turnover margin. I think that's been an issue. In Memphis, over the last 10 years, we're one of the best teams in the country at turnover margin, significantly more so the last 5 years. And that's important. That's how you win those games. And then finally getting guys to believe, guys that are going to be resilient, guys are going to finish and fight every single play. And if you do that, you give yourself a chance.
Hey Ryan, Jackson Fuller, Southwest Times Record. What will you be valuing most in assembling your staff? Is it SEC experience, your own personal relationships? How are you going about that in terms of what you're valuing?
Yeah, Jackson, listen, I always have valued experience, and I think that's important, but most importantly, great coaches and great leaders of men. And you can say, well, that sounds like coach speak. That's not. Because I believe that how you do anything is how you do everything. And we're going to find coaches that are going to truly pour into these guys. And they may think it's corny, but I'm going to tell them, like, these coaches are going to love them. They're going to hold them accountable, okay, to everything these guys say they want to do. And they're going to make sure they achieve exactly what we say we're putting out there. And we talk about standards and all those things, but coaches are going to set the standard and push the players to meet that standard. And look, there's coaches that are coming aboard that have SEC experience. All right, they'll be here before you know it, and we'll be able to talk about it and write about them probably the next time we all get together. There's some coaches that have some NFL experience. There's some coaches of various backgrounds, coaches I've worked for before, coaches that are going to make sure the lights stay on in this building, whatever the hell it takes. So all sorts. But I can't wait for you guys to meet those people that are going to be with us, and it's going to be very, very exciting times.
Hunter, another financials question. I know you won't give us the details, but what can you point to fans and say, right here is evidence that we have stepped up our financial game in the SEC?
It will come when he announces some of the people on his staff. That would be the first piece, and then when you see how our roster comes together after the transfer portal officially opens in January, you see we've got a couple of young men in here that are coming back. That's a part of the financial commitment that we've made into our football program to be able to retain those high caliber, very talented young men that we want to be a part of our program and the leaders of our program. And so I think when you look at what the staff looks like, the support staff as well, and then the players that become a part of this program, that will show you the financial commitment we've made to our football program.
Hunter, sorry, another financial question.
Go ahead, sure.
If I understood you earlier, you said there were going to be some reallocation of funding within the departments. Where is it going to be reallocated from? Is it other sports, or kind of how is that going? Or is there another revenue source coming in? Or
Yes, and yes. I mean, just a couple of different revenue sources that we're looking through, both through our foundation and through the athletic department, and then just how we reallocate money that we're currently spending within our department, whether that's from a salary standpoint, an operational standpoint. But we feel like we can do some things differently to be more efficient, that we can reallocate more dollars to our football program.
And then also looking over the term sheet for Coach Silverfield, I noticed that the buyout, it's not the tiered one that you had for Coach Pittman based on winning percentage. I'm curious what the reasoning was behind that.
It's Coach Pittman didn't have the same agent to start out with that Ryan does now. And so not many agents will advise their coaches to accept that buyout the way we had it set up. It was much more favorable to the institution. I think this is kind of a middle ground, that it's favorable to the coach and favorable to the institution.
And then, Coach, for you, I noticed that Scott Gasper is going to be a guy that's going to be following you over. I'm curious, kind of what role did he have with you at Memphis, and kind of how do you envision his role helping you here at Arkansas?
Yeah, so I'm not sure what exactly is I'm allowed to talk about, because some things are certain. But there will be people joining us from Memphis. Some will have different titles, some will have different roles. But there are so many great people there. Like, I wouldn't be sitting here today if it weren't for that great staff at the University of Memphis and all those people, right? I think about 27 years of coaching, all the people that allowed me to get here today. But listen, as things come out, as people are able to get their contracts under, and we'll be able to discuss them at plenty. And I'll be thrilled to make time to kind of discuss the wonderful people that are going to be joining us here in Fayetteville.
Christina Long from WholeHogSports.com. Heard one of your roles at Memphis when you were an assistant coach was some involvement in fundraising. Is that something that you kind of talked to Hunter about in the interview process, and something you plan on using here?
Yeah, listen, first off, we know as a head coach, you have to wear every hat, right? Whether that's picking up trash, whether that's being a CEO and fundraising, whether that's getting my hands in the dirt and teaching a lineman, make sure they're stepping the right direction. But that was part of something that I took pride in. I understand the way college football is going, right, towards the NFL model, all these things, but you still always have to fundraise. I don't care if you're a head high school coach in Savannah, Georgia, or the head coach of Arkansas. That's part of what is needed. And until they say, hey, we're just going to play for free, I don't know if, and we're not playing with monopoly money, there's always going to be the need for fundraising. And so I told them, and I've told his staff already, It's my job to help assist that. And, we can do that first and foremost by winning football games. But I'm happy to go knock on doors, to go meet some of these people. And I think part of that is just building the relationship, right? I can't wait for so many of our great fans, so many of our great donors, so many people that have already stepped up and said, hey, I want to help out. But just building those relationships and let them understand what I'm all about, what our young men are all about, who they truly are. And that's what's been so special to me. Like, you sit there and you have a narrative of coaches, of what you think they are and who they're about. You have a narrative of what you think of a program and the players. And then I have the opportunity to sit down with them face to face and get to know them and get, to tell that story. And that helps the fundraising as well. And I can't wait to develop so many of those relationships. But yes, long-winded answer, that was part of what I did at Memphis, and we're going to go to it full force here.
Hunter, you'll never guess what this is about, but are there plans to implement a student athletic fee as part of this new financial commitment?
There is not. That is not something that at least has been discussed from an athletic department standpoint. If that's something the board and or the university decides that they feel is the right direction to head, that would be their call, not the athletic department call. But from an athletic department standpoint, we have not discussed that.
And then to you, just what would a successful first year of the Silverfield era look like?
It's already off to a great start. When you talk about the recruiting class, the kids that he flipped in the first 24 to 48 hours, the young men that he's convinced that this is the right program to be a part of, and just putting this team together, putting this staff together, and really giving our fan base some hope for the future of our football program and what that can look like will be a successful first year. And let me touch on his fundraising prowess. He doesn't even know this yet. So he was in the courtside club last night, and he was doing what he does in building relationship with donors right off the bat. He walked away from one donor. The donor came up to me and committed to a 7-figure gift to our football program, just with a brief 5-minute encounter. He didn't even know he'd done that.
Like I got to go meet some more people. I'll see you.
I think you see kind of the personality he has, and he can quickly build relationships and sell his vision to our fan base.
Yeah, Hunter, just following up on that example, how did the financial backing come together over the past few months with board, donors, et cetera?
Yeah, I mean, it's been the board's had some significant discussions internally as a board, so I can't speak to those discussions. I was not a part of that. I provided some financial data to them. They asked the university to make a commitment. They asked the athletic department to reallocate dollars to make a more significant commitment. And then Ryan White, the executive director of the foundation, and his team and myself, we've been working for the last 30 to 45 days on that fundraising trail.
What was the process like? How long was it to kind of do that review of the department's finances and allocating the money?
It's been very quick because when you're out looking in a football coaching search, I mean, football coaches want to know what their assistant coaches pool is going to be. They want to know what their support staff pool is going to be. They want to understand the revenue sharing and the NIL opportunities before they're going to dive headfirst into a job. And so we had to put all that together and make a commitment to that pretty quickly.
Ryan, big Arkansas senior class, and also just the day and age of the transfer portal. How many spots are you expecting to be filled by your Memphis players?
I can't even comment on that. But listen, we dealt with 78 new players this past year at the University of Memphis, and we know there's going to be turnover. That's, like you said, that's what college football is all about nowadays. But I can't comment on what that will look like, but we're going to look all over and find the best fit for us. Right, and no different than recruiting. It's not about just taking the 4-star. It's about finding the best fit for our locker and the culture that we're creating.